Welcome to a short video on relaxation in connection to acting system or performing on the stage. So I would imagine, as we all can agree, that there should be no tension, well, relatively no tension when it comes to producing music, making music, learning music, studying music, practicing, and so on. Like the tiredness should come from something else. We should become tired mentally first before getting really tired in our hands. And to say the same thing again from a different perspective, no pain, no gain absolutely cannot be applied to music. So let's not turn this video into what it is not, but just a healthy reminder. The pain is not for music, it's for sports, not for music. At the beginning of the chapter, he was saying that we can't even imagine how damaging even tiniest tension anywhere in our body can be to a creative process. Earlier in the chapter, he describes another acting class in which he asked all of the acting students to pick up a heavy object. I think it was a heavy, fairly large table. So to pick it up and to start, I believe he asked them to start reciting something that they've memorized, lines from the play that they memorized before, and they probably already rehearsed it recently, just day before from memory, no problem. But as they were exerting the physical effort while holding a heavy object, it became evident that it has a very negative effect on the mental capacity. Once again, I'm not turning this video into something that is not, so all the negative effects of having tension in our body when it comes to playing the music is equally there. But here is a different, additional twist on this. While to ourselves it might feel that, well, maybe little tension here and there is not going to hurt, but he was saying that we must be better versions of ourselves on the stage. Once again, as I was just saying in a different video, or regardless whichever video you were watching before this one, we must relearn how to walk, how to look, all of those things while on the stage. Because as audience observes us, and I believe it applies, obviously it applies to actors, obviously it applies to singers, especially in the opera, but even for us, stationary subjects with instruments in our hands or in front of us, instrumentalists, musicians, even slightest tension in any part of our body, through a microscope or binoculars, metaphorically speaking, through which audience observes us while we are on the stage, as stage magnifies everything. Slight tension in the shoulder feels one way to us. For the audience, it might look like our entire body is completely stiff. Now, of course, Stanislavski acknowledges that it's not necessary and it's impossible to be relaxed at all times. But what he says we should do instead is develop, as he calls it, self-monitoring system. And we should practice it on a daily, regular basis so that it becomes reflex and a habit. But before I dive deeper into that, just slightly deeper into that, let me explain. Self-monitoring system is that when you're just normally existing, you're using your mind, scanning through your body and just trying to find any unnoticed attention, any unnoticed tension in your muscles, in your groups. And then you're continuously bringing it back to the performance, continuously relax whatever is that you find that you have tensed up, consciously or subconsciously. This technique is very useful, especially trying to find the muscles that are tense, but we are not aware of them. And it also reminds me of the the technique that has a different name, which is progressive relaxation. And the idea is, as you're closing your eyes, as you're breathing slowly and you're focusing on how you feel, then in your mind you go through your muscle groups little by little, one by one. For example, starting from your feet, and you clench them, tense them up. You notice how that feels, then you release them. You notice how that feels. You move a bit higher, your ankles, hips, and so on. And you do that process with each one of them. The key element here is to be aware, to notice how does it feel when those muscles are relaxed, are tension-free. Because once again, there will be groups of muscles that we are not aware of. And once again, I need to repeat the following. It's important to use this self-monitoring system, not just when they're practicing or during the lesson or at the performance. It's too late for that. We need to practicing this system, using this system as frequently as possible in our daily lives. Because once again, it has to become a habit, subconscious habit, a reflex. Why? Because some of the reasonings I was already giving in the video on concentration. But similarly, we simply can't afford for this self-monitoring system to be at such level which requires us our conscious thinking and conscious control over it. Okay, I'm playing in the middle of the phrase, or I'm playing at the piano, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to double check if my shoulders are down or not. We have just wasted, and since we can't really multitask, as far as consciously paying attention to multiple things, consciously, we can't multitask. That's a story for a different video. But this self-monitor has to be running in the background, just like all those endless processes that are running in the computers when we are performing some simple task. But we are not aware of those processes. Similarly, the self-monitoring should be happening in the background. There are a few more techniques regarding relaxation and so on, which I would be happy to talk about in the other videos not related to this series. But this is perhaps a fine point to stop this one. I recommend you try this when you're practicing next time, and when you're breathing next time, when you're walking next time. Just scan through your body, just think about all the different sensations that you have. Maybe the neck is locked, especially if you're staring at the computers, or worse, the phones, for too much time than it's necessary, and so on. But with time, as the humanity progresses in one ways, as far as body is concerned, we might be creating, unconsciously might be creating a damage that we are not aware of. Self-monitoring system can help to deal with that. I will see you in the next video, in which I will be talking about supertask, through action, and some other cool things. As always, happy learning. I will see you in the next one.